Hi, church. Just wanted to share a few words with you tonight. It's Saturday night. First of all, I want to say thank you to all of you for the love and the care that you've shown each other at this time. The pastoral care in our church, the genuine concern and support for each other. Just the love shown one another has been amazing, and I'm just so proud to be part of a church that truly loves one another, cares for one another. We really have been and continue to be a church without walls, so thank you for that, church. And I also want to thank you and thank God most of all, and let you know that financially we are on budget. We are doing really well. We are financially secure, and it's because of your continued faithful and generous giving in tithes and offerings. And we're so grateful to God for that provision, and we're grateful. I want to say thank you on behalf of myself and the leadership. We're grateful to you for continuing to give faithfully, give generously, and give consistently. So thank you so much for that, and we're doing well and we're strong in that aspect of our church life. I wanted to share with you a story. I'll be brief, but I hope it encourages you, from 2 Kings chapter 4, and it's a story about Elisha. And Elisha is passing through a town. This town is called Shunem, and he meets this lady in this town, and she offers him hospitality. Her and her husband offer to make him a meal, and each time he comes to the town, he's invited to their home, and they feed him and take care of him. And eventually they decide that they want to do more for Elisha, this holy man, this prophet coming through their town when he visits. So they make a small room for him with a bed and a desk, a little extension on their home for him. And Elisha is truly grateful to them. So he asks the next time he's in the town if there's anything he can do for this lady, and she replies that there's nothing that she needs. She's got everything she needs. But he eventually finds out that her and her husband are childless, and he calls her in, and the husband is quite old, so it's not looking like they're going to have a family. But Elisha prophesies over her and says, this time next year you'll be nursing a son, and it comes to pass. She is, and this son is born, and as he grows up, as he's a young child, we don't quite know his age, but sadly he becomes ill, and he becomes really ill, and then one day he passes away. And so this lady, she takes the child and she puts him on Elisha's bed, and she doesn't tell anybody what's happened, not even her husband. He doesn't know. And she sees her husband and she says, I've got to go and see the holy man. Don't ask me why, I'm just going to see him. And she goes as fast as she can with the servant with her to the holy man, to Elisha at Mount Carmel. And as Elisha sees her coming, he says to his servant Gehazi, he says, this is the Shunammite woman, there must be something wrong. Is she okay? Is the child okay? Go and find out. So Gehazi goes to the lady, and as he reaches her, as she's coming in the distance, he says to her, is everything okay? Are you okay? Is your child okay? Your husband okay? And she says, everything is fine, there's no problem. But then when she gets to Elisha, she falls at his feet, and he sees she's in distress, and she tells him what's happened, and he sends the servant Gehazi to the house, and he puts Elisha's staff over the child, but nothing happens. And eventually Elisha gets there, and he spreads himself out over this child 3 times, and he prays, walking around the room, and on the 3rd time that he does this, the child comes back to life, and Elisha gives the child back to his mother, the Shunammite woman. And of course there's rejoicing, and everything is put back to how it was before. The thing I wanted to share with you about this story is she never gave up on the promise of God. She believed God and she believed in his promise. And she knew that this word had come through Elisha, through the holy man. And she wouldn't settle for second best. She wouldn't settle for the servant coming and praying and laying his hands on, laying the staff on. She needed to get to Elisha because this promise had come from God and it had come through Elisha. And she knew that Elisha could do something about this situation. And the thing is that she did not settle. She didn't give up. She just kept going and trusting and believing that this could be changed and that the promise could still be kept, even though it all looked dire and it all looked really, really kind of hopeless. In this time of lockdown, we may have been hearing from God, and we may have had a word from God, and we felt that something was going to happen, or he was taking us in a particular direction, or we were moving in some way in our lives in a new direction, or God was doing something in us, and then suddenly it all stopped because the lockdown came, and everything just seemed to come to an end. Just all stopped. My encouragement to you is God keeps his promises, and if he's spoken to you, then he'll bring it to pass. And this will pass, and no matter what happens, he will bring to pass that which he's promised us. He will fulfill his promises because he's faithful, and he always fulfills his promises. And when we come through this time, he will pick us up again. He will put us right back where we were, and we will begin on that journey again, because God is faithful to what he's said and what he's promised us. So my word to you tonight, church, is trust God. He will bring his promises to pass, and you can trust him and believe in him because he's faithful. Amen.